He's 0-3 in the group. Our Protoss player to the bottom right. He needs a win. He can't advance to Codes, but he might get third place. It is
LGIM YongHwa.
YongHwa is in trouble and he knows it. He needs a win and he needs it now. If he loses, all hope is lost. Then there's no way for him anymore to advance. Not even with the wildcard group being introduced at the GSL. To the top right starts his opponent. Our Terran player in blue for KT Rolster. It is
KT Flash.
And as mentioned before, Flash needs a win here. If he loses this game to YongHwa, then he can hope to get third place, but he cannot get first or second in the group anymore, and therefore won't directly advance to Codes. So this is a very important win for him.
Yeah. This is really, really important. This is a deciding game for both players. And, you know, at this moment in time, the group that we have is so, you know, I actually expected it to be closer, but with Yoda just taking this 4-0, I think it puts the group in a weird spot where you're like, well, I guess he's the one who's actually at the forefront here, and everyone else has to kind of bounce around him.
You know, the funny thing is, with Yoda taking game after game, it's the first place, of course, goes to Yoda. There's no doubt about it, and he could even go for 5-0 here. But the second and the third place, it's so close. Every single player that is still in this in this group can get at least third place. So nobody is out yet. YongHwa, if he loses to Flash, is the first one who really drops out and will be in Korea next season, no matter what.
No matter what. And you know, right now this is Flash style. The one CC first, YongHwa sees it. He expected it probably already. He could have done a probe pull to try to deny it. We've only seen that a few times in these positions, but you know, it's tough. It's tough to make a choice like that. He goes for the faster Nexus with the probes pulled out of gas to get that up faster before core. That's a great response. It's my favorite response actually, the CC first when you're a Protoss player.
We are now on Entombed Valley, and this is a map that is always a little bit awkward in this matchup.
Yeah.
You can go for very heavy gateway timings as a Protoss player. You can go for immortal pushes as well, which can be really strong here. But especially with a drop play, if a Terran player is very good at macro gaming, and of course also at multitasking, drop play on this map can be very difficult to deal with. Because you can hit the main base and you can hit the natural. There is just this high ground, low ground situation that you will always end up with. So as a Protoss player, it's sometimes a bit difficult to deal with it if you don't have an observer in position to spot the drop early. So we'll find out what kind of idea YongHwa has here. He must be really disappointed with how this day went so far.
Yeah. Almost as disappointed as Artosis is right now, but we'll see how this ends up here. Something to talk about with this map is that choke point between the natural and the third base is oftentimes a choke point that decides battles. Even if one player has 20-30% more units, if they can't all fight because of that choke point, the player who has the concave on the other end gets a massive advantage. Those Flash goes into, once more, his 2 barracks follow-up into the third barracks. Unfortunately for him against MC, he did not make a bunker and died. In this case, though, he's got enough Marines. He starts a bunker a little bit later, but YongHwa did not pressure him directly, so he's going to be fine. And he will actually be able to send those Marines across in that back hallway to try to sneak around and kill some of YongHwa's probes.
That one supply depot is always being killed.
That depot is it's tough to be the neutral depot. You know, you're not against anybody, you're not for anybody, but everyone's against you.
You're Switzerland.
Yeah, exactly. You just find yourself surrounded on all sides, and a lot of people dislike you. I mean, the supply depot, that is.
Yeah, of course.
I have to say, I really like Swiss chocolate, though. Very good.
Yeah.
Swiss Army knives.
Very helpful.
Very helpful.
Yep.
You can open so many cans with those, and also...
Skiing in Switzerland is awesome.
Yes, skiing in Switzerland is also good. Swiss cheese, ever tried it? It's pretty good.
Yeah, also if you try to, just hide some money, it's always awesome.
Yeah, good
It's a tax oasis.
Yeah, there's a lot of conventions over there, I heard. So, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much for that. Back to StarCraft.
Anyways, we have the Twilight Council coming up here with +1 armor. YongHwa is going into your standard Protoss versus Terran build. We'll see in just a moment if he goes into robotic support bay or not. It looks less and less likely based on the build he's chosen, but he could still do it.
Yeah, the Twilight Council coming up here, nearly finished for him. He also gets the second Observer out. YongHwa is in a position where Flash does not see his Observer, doesn't wait for it, and therefore no scan. The Observer sees everything. This is the situation that YongHwa was in when he played his teammate, when he played against Yoda. And even though he saw everything that Yoda made on this one base play, he lost. He played very well though, and it was a close series. But now we have YongHwa adding Blink and going into Immortals. So what is he going to do against Flash, who starts with his 2 bases and plays more of a normal style? But of course, once again, Flash is just a player that if you don't pressure him, if you just leave him to do whatever he wants to do, I feel he doesn't make any mistakes. There are no macro slip-ups for him. He will play the game perfect, and you will have to come up with something to just hit him and blindside him.
Yeah, have you ever seen Flash supply blocked? I didn't think so.
In the last game once.
Yeah, actually, right now he's actually supply blocked, but the thing is, he had his production cycles going, so it was fine.
Right now it's fine. I mean, we have the double supply depot already.
Yeah. It was alright. But, you know, I was going to say that based on the Immortals that we saw, did he cancel that Immortal? No, he still actually made 2, but based on the Immortal production we saw, I thought we were going to see a Temple Archive go down, but we actually see instead the Robotic Support Bay, and, you know, this pressure by Flash is kind of scary when those medevacs get here, but if YongHwa actually takes a fight before those medevacs are ready, he could actually start doing some damage, and that's exactly what he does. This is exactly how you want to face something like this. If you see it coming and you know the medevacs aren't there because you have good observer coverage, that's how you take a fight before the medevacs are there. And then the attack that you might see at your third base is just going to be so much weaker. Also, position-wise, with the position of the third base in these positions for YongHwa, it's a little bit tougher for Flash to actually sneak around and attack it.
Vision is just half the battle here. Flash taking a slight lead. He has now the factory that gives him a lot of vision, and here comes YongHwa again with the Guardian Shield. The Immortals at the front are sniped immediately by Flash. He's trying to target them down, but there's a lot of damage potential for YongHwa, and Flash might not be able to pressure through, but now the second Immortal is gone, and suddenly all those Marauders are in a perfect position.
Yeah, he took out the Zealots really nicely as well. Flash with a very good trade there.
As long as you take down the Immortals right away, your Marauders can do so much damage against Stalkers. Stalkers are just helpless against them. They're like fish on water. If you're on a Stalker, you don't want to face a Marauder, especially not with cast shells.
Yeah, you definitely don't. If you're an Immortal, you want to do that, but the thing is, even if you have Immortals against Marauders, with medevac healing, they're just not all too useful, especially once that shield's gone. This is pretty brave by Flash, but I think it's the right choice considering how many medevacs he has. He will actually have to pull out against the Colossus. Is he going to try to make this work?
He's trying to snipe the Colossus, and the Colossus is not microed well by YongHwa. He's nearly losing it. He's already down to the red, and the Colossus is down.
I can't believe he lost that, actually.
He didn't have to lose it.
Yeah.
It was really important. The problem for him was that he didn't have extended thermal lance, which makes it more difficult. But now Flash is still trying to pressure in, and he has a 25 supply lead.
Stalker Micro here is decent, but the factory is actually posing a big annoyance for YongHwa. He can't really have his, you can't manually target 8 different Stalkers at once and make sure they're all attacking different Marauders when there's a factory like that. It actually bugs out the AI quite a bit.
And during the entire time, we had Flash just going for his macro management. He's on 3 bases, he's way ahead in Harvesters, and having a Terran player ahead in SCVs while being on 3 bases and having those extra mules too is just horrible economy-wise. So Flash is getting farther and farther ahead in this game. We have him now with the armory and also the second engineering base so that he can go right away for double upgrades. A very difficult situation for YongHwa.
Flash is ahead in SCVs against Protoss, 71 to 67. The gas is just now being taken for YongHwa at his third, whereas Flash has actually mined already about 300 gas per refinery that he's got at his third base. Just think about that. That's 600 more gas ahead of his opponent in a game where gas is relatively important.
Yeah. +2 attack has been started for Flash. We have him with the armor upgrade at the same time. Now the that's the one thing, of course, that can always change things. What we have for YongHwa now, the Templar Archive. If you are able to get the perfect storms. But today, when Flash faced Hero in Pro League, it always looked like Flash had this 1 second glimpse into the future, that he always knew where the next storm would hit and when. he always dodged them like so perfectly. And YongHwa doesn't even have Storm yet. And he might not have Storms in the entire course of the game because Flash is out for blood now.
Yeah, he wants to take the fight to him, and he doesn't want to give YongHwa enough time. YongHwa, yeah, he's got 2 Colossi and he's got ramps and choke points, but with this many Vikings, he actually has 8 Vikings and he's making 3 at a time. He's about to have 11. He can try to pick off these Vikings all he wants, but Flash has too much.
Yeah, the first Colossus is already gone, and here comes Flash taking down unit after unit. He has a huge supply lead,
Really nice
and he
split.
is taking it. The second Colossus is not done just yet, but he runs in, stims again, and takes down both of them. This is YongHwa with his dying breath cursing Flash, but God is gonna prevail again.
He certainly will, and Flash takes a 50 supply lead, and YongHwa finds himself at the bottom of the sea down with Davy Jones. GG. 0-4 is LGIM's YongHwa, and Flash lives to fight another day.
Flash secures himself another chance to go straight into Code S, and YongHwa is out. He is in Code A. There is no chance for him to advance anymore. Not even as third place and getting a chance in the in the wildcard group.
He's now the sandbag, the punching bag of the group.
Yep.
Nothing he can do.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for YongHwa, and I did not expect it. Coming into the studio today and watching this group, I did not expect YongHwa to go down 0-4.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be one of the weaker links. I thought, Vampire would be really the one in his place, if anybody. And I thought also maybe we would see Yoda struggle a little bit in this group. I thought, again, I said this before, I'm like, maybe this is his group. It was more of like a feeling than actually something based in logic. But it worked out for him, and on the opposite side of things, YongHwa he's out. Did not have a good day today.
Not at all. One Protoss player already out of the group, and now we have the 2 remaining Protoss players facing each other in another PvP. MC is up against Vampire now. And MC currently looking at 2 wins and 1 loss. Vampire is down 1 map. He only won a single map and lost 2 of them.
Yeah.
So he really needs a win here. And we're going to find out who's going to take it. The map, I believe we're already invited, right?
Yeah, I got to load it up. And it is going to be Belcher Vestige, in fact.
All right, Belcher Vestige for Protoss versus Protoss.
Probably going to be a longer one on this map. Yeah. Usually you don't see Blink Stalker pushed on this map.
Well, with MC, you never know. MC,
That's true.
with a really good strategy against Flash, punished him for being a bit too greedy. No bunker for the Terran player from Great Hero All-Star. And MC was just like, sorry, man. Turning on the boss mode, and I'm taking this game, and it really put him into a good position. He's currently on the second spot in the group, and if he wins here, this is going to be really, really good for him. Of course, Yoda is the one guy that you will not be able to dethrone today, but still there's a second spot that you can get to advance right into Code S, and this is exactly where MC wants to go, where he belongs.
Yeah. MC has definitely been a player who's pretty much seen it all. He's fallen out of Code A, he's gotten back in, he's been the up and downs, he's been in and out of Code S, he's won championships. This guy's not somebody you want to mess with. He's the boss toss, after all.
Yeah, for a reason. And that's what Flash also had to realize. And for Flash, this is still a scenario where a lot of these... I mean, the Casper players prepare a lot, and Flash, I think, stated that he plays 40 to 60 games a day now. I feel I read that today after he was interviewed in Pro League, so that's really impressive. But
that's actually like almost physically impossible.
It's pretty crazy. And at the same time, if you are up against a lot of these players in the GSL, you might not have faced them before that often, so that they might surprise you, and that's exactly what MC did. He really surprised Flash, and Flash couldn't really deal with it. When he didn't have the bunker ready, there was just nothing he could do anymore. MC's micro is just too good, and he didn't allow Flash to bounce back. It was close, though. When he pulled the SCVs, it was a very close fight, so Flash trying to go for a really good timing, and this decision-making after the early game was great.
It almost worked out, you know? If MC's had messed up his force shields one time before the 2-2 was done, or those cannons were ready, or if Flash has gone to the third base, try to come from a different angle maybe.
But as you already said, in StarCraft 2, MC has a lot more experience than Flash has.
Yeah.
And now we have MC up against Vampire. He's seen it all, and can he edge out another win? Will he be 3-1 in the group, or will we have Vampire take the game? Here we have the 2 of them on screen.
MC very much bouncing around. He's been doing that a lot in the booth. And I don't think it's stress. I think it's actually his adrenaline. I think it's more so, maybe you could call it positive stress, but he knows what's at stake here, and so does Vampire. Vampire a player I think who doesn't get as much recognition and he doesn't get the respect he deserves, I feel, but he has a lot to prove. This group is not an easy one.
And this is a really, really interesting game, not only because of the match itself, but also because what it implies to all the other players in the group. We're talking about this in just a second as the map is currently loading. So guys, get ready for Protoss versus Protoss, MC versus Vampire on Belcher Vestige at the GSL Up and Downs with Colin Wolf.